Joining me now is the Republican congressman from the state of Colorado, Gabe Evans. He's a member of the Homeland Security Committee, and before joining Congress, the congressman served as a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter pilot. Joins us live here on the Hill. Thanks for talking to us. I see the picture over your shoulder there, Congressman. You know a thing or two about this, and we're getting a little more information, but we don't have all of the answers, or not many of them tonight. As you see the animation, you know how Black Hawks work. What is your belief, Congressman, of how this could have potentially happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Sorry it has to be under these circumstances, and our hearts absolutely go out to the victims and to their families and to their loved ones. When I first heard the news, and then you just showed the animation now, a couple of things go through my mind. First of all, I spent almost 10 years flying Black Hawks in and around the Denver airspace, which is among the top 5 busiest airports in the nation. I was a company commander, a pilot in command, air mission commander, and aircrew training program commander. And so I know that the mission set that was being conducted that night was predominantly under night vision goggles. When you're that close to an airport or an airfield, there's a lot of systems that are designed to keep the aircraft from colliding, but the most critical task that you have when you're that close is just what's called airspace surveillance, aka looking outside the cockpit to see the company traffic. When you're flying under night vision goggles, your field of view is reduced by about almost 90%, 95% from what it normally is in the daytime. So you have a very, very narrow range of view, and you lose a lot of depth perception. So we know that these pilots were talking to air traffic control. It's entirely possible that they were looking for and misidentified the company traffic that air traffic control advised the Black Hawk crew to be aware of.
So as someone who has flown Black Hawks around one of the busiest airports in the nation, in your case out there in Denver, and DC is among the top here as well, did it ever occur to you we shouldn't be doing this? Or is it just a necessity given the job and the need for training?
Yeah, so that's something called air sense, where you develop just after being in the air and being in these busy situations, you develop almost that sixth sense of, are we operating within not only the parameters and capabilities of the airspace and the aircraft, but within the capabilities of what the aircrew is able to process, what air traffic control is able to process. And so that's something that just comes with time and experience in the cockpit. And what is important in that discussion is, like we used to say every time we took off, look, once we're in the air, physics is the final arbiter of everything. And so we have to make sure that our number one focus always remains the technical and tactical competency to employ the aircraft. And anytime anything else intrudes on that priority, then that is potentially setting a situation where human error can intrude and create a disaster like this.
You are now a congressman. As a congressman, you know that there are some things that the American public can't. It's just part of the job, right? And you can only imagine that there are some things that the President of the United States knows that the American public doesn't. And the President today posted this. He said the Black Hawk helicopter was flying too high by a lot. It was far above the 200-foot limit. That's not really too complicated to understand, is it? Do you think he's just making a judgment like anyone in the general public? Or do you think he's saying that off of information as the commander-in-chief that he has?
Well, based on the information that I know, it's far too early to make a definitive statement. Now, granted, he's the president, and I'm one of 435 congressmen, so he may know things that I don't. But from the information that I know, like I said, it's entirely too early to make a definitive statement. We do know that there is a rotary wing air corridor that runs along the Potomac River, and that there are altitude restrictions associated with that. But again, going back to human error being involved in somewhere around 90% of these disasters like that, being able to identify exactly where that error occurred is something that we're going to need to investigate a lot more.
Congressman Gabe Evans is a Republican from the state of Colorado, and as the shot zooms out, you'll see the Black Hawk over his shoulder. Former pilot with us tonight here on the Hill. Nice to speak with you, Congressman. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much.